What up? It's your boy T-Bear from the Reaction, today's Music Monday. As I mentioned earlier, we want to do another. We were going to do another Digging the Greats one. And this one is their latest one involving one of the queens of hip hop as well too, who's been doing a thing in not only in hip hop but in the TV and movie world as well too. Though including her hit sitcom Living Single. None other than the queen herself, Queen Latifah. So not around like 93, 92, she released a awesome, iconic song as well too, called U.N.I.T.Y. Unity. And that song to this day is brought up as well too. Brought most recently as well too with the incident with the mom Montgomery, Alabama. But anyway, we're going to talk about how we're going to talk about from Digging the Greats how it is the respect of hip hop, as in not. I mean, other than it's a respectful song, it is just the RESPECT of respect, as in the Aretha Franklin song. So we're going to hear from Digging the Greats on why is that considered the RESPECT of hip hop. Sorry, man, I'm trying here. Anyway, let's get it.
Yeah, I'll take which song is that for 400? As a reaction to the music scene of the time, which was dominated by men and riddled with misogynist themes of disrespect, a powerful female artist released this legendary anthem, literally spelling out exactly what she wanted from the men of her time. I mean, this could be a lot of songs dating back to the beginning of human history. I'm going to go with either Unity by Queen Latifah or Respect by Aretha Franklin. What? I mean, that's got to be it. I mean, Aretha's Respect is a classic. RESPECT, 1967, right in the middle of a bunch of women's rights stuff. Or Queen Latifah's Unity. I mean, the hook spells it out to the hip-hop scene of the 90s. U.N.I.T.Y. I don't get it. It's absolutely one of those two songs. Oh, sorry. What is either Unity by Queen Latifah or Respect by Aretha Franklin? Today, I'm breaking down the Queen Latifah song, Unity. The production, recreating the beat, the lyrical themes in it, and seeing how with this song Queen Latifah is picking up where Aretha left off, demanding respect for women everywhere. And I might just mash it all up at the end.
That'd be
Sorry,
awesome.
What is I just might mash it all up at the end? This is ridiculous. Here we go. Queen Latifah's first album, All Hail the Queen, was released in 1989 when she was just 19 years old.
Wow.
She was a member of the Native Tongues, a collective of hip-hop artists who had a more positive, Afrocentric vibe. In my video on the Native Tongues, we contrasted NWA's Straight Outta Compton versus the Jungle Brothers' Straight Outta Jungle. This first Queen Latifah album is a classic. It's got the song Ladies First with Moni Love. This was the first song with two female MCs that weren't part of a group. She's on the Buddy remix with De La Soul and A Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, Moni Love. This early Native Tongue stuff is so good. It's so different from other hip-hop that was popular, but what I think is so interesting is the evolution of each of these groups over the next few years. Once we get out of the late 80s and into the early 90s, we get De La Soul is Dead in 91. They're trying to go a different direction from the Daisy Age of the first album. Tribe is dropping classics like Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders. The Native Tongues are growing up and making incredible music. Meanwhile, outside of the Native Tongues, artists like Too Short or NWA are putting out music that's very disrespectful towards women, calling them derogatory names, perhaps no clearer than with the 1992 Dr. Dre song that I'm not even going to try and bleep. It's at the end of the Chronic, Spotify listening guide in the description. But in 1993, here comes Queen Latifah, the same woman who at age 8 picked her stage name Latifah because it's Arabic for delicate or kind. Released Ladies First at age 19, celebrating female MCs, and in 93 she released the album Black Rain and the single Unity, which verse by verse demands respect for herself and women everywhere, calling on men to do better and women to stand up for themselves. I know the song's technically called U.N.I.T.Y, but for the sake of brevity, I'm going to call it Unity. Unity feels like a reaction to misogynist songs like the Dr. Dre one I just mentioned, or didn't quite mention, but also like a continuation of Aretha Franklin's hit song, Respect. One of these is a classic soul song, the other 90s hip-hop, but both of them have a lot in common, not only lyrically, but musically as well. Let's dive in. Unity was produced by KG of Naughty by Nature and Moofy. The sample comes from the song A Message from the Inner City by the Crusaders from 1972.
Wow.
Here's a little bit of that. Here it comes. Pitching it up, speeding it up. Here we go, right here. Now, here's the crazy part about this sample. There's two versions of that same section that we hear. One that's filtered to focus on the sax. And one that's filtered to focus on the bass. There are several musicians playing on this, and the two main elements that made it over from the original Crusaders record to the Queen Latifah song were the sax and bass. But here's the crazy part. They're both being played by the same person. Wilton Felder is a legendary musician who played on records like Billy Joel's Piano Man, with artists like Randy Newman, Joan Baez, Steely Dan, Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. Oh, and you know I Want You Back by the Jackson 5?
Wow.
That's Wilton Felder on bass.
Nice.
Sorry, I forgot. Who is that Wilton Felder on bass? So by sampling this Crusader song, Queen Latifah is also incorporating this musical legend, but from two different angles, the bass and the sax. Now I'm going to make a quick and dirty version of this. I'm going to loop that, boost the highs and the lows, filter out the mids, add some drums. By the way, check out what I've got underneath here. Official Digging the Greats vinyl slip mats. These work great for DJing or just listening to vinyl at home. You can get these at diggingthegreats.com or by clicking the product link below. This isn't some cheap print-on-demand thing. These are high-quality slip mats that I'm sending you personally. I'm also shipping to a bunch of countries all over the world, so go check it out, diggingthegreats.com. Now, one last thing on the musical elements in Unity. The original Crusader sample is essentially two chords, G minor and D minor, that it loops back and forth. But for Unity, KG and Mufi are speeding and pitching it up, so it ends up right around A minor and E minor. Put a pin in that because we're coming back to the chords in a moment. Let's talk about the lyrics. On the hook, Queen Latifah is calling out the use of a specific word that I'm censoring for YouTube, but you should go listen to the song after this anyway. Spotify link in the description. This feels like a direct response to some of the stuff I've already mentioned. NWA, Dr. Dre, and more. Queen Latifah is hitting back. Her delivery is direct, no nonsense, very clear. She's telling us what she wants. Unity. Enough of the name calling, she just wants to bring everyone together. In the first verse, she lays out a scenario where she essentially gets catcalled, touched, and ultimately Latifah punches him dead in the eye. Verse 2 addresses domestic abuse and calls for women to leave abusive situations. Verse 3, she's focusing on the ladies, telling them not to act recklessly or try to act tough. Each of these verses has the hook in between. Basically, on this song, she's calling out people left and right, random nasty dudes, abusers, wannabe tough girls, and in between, trying to bring everyone together, but making it clear as day what she wants. She's literally spelling it out. U.N.I.T.Y. This demanding of respect is a direct continuation of what Aretha Franklin started with respect. Granted, Queen Latifah is being much more direct and specific, telling a few stories along the way. There are many parallels between these two songs, lyrically and musically, right down to Aretha spelling out what she wants. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Because here's the thing, while Aretha didn't write that song, there are elements that are added in her version. Wow. That's right, the writer and original artist of Respect is Otis Redding. This version of Respect is from a man's point of view, which, I mean, I love Otis Redding, but there's a reason this version isn't as popular. Turns out a song about a man coming home and saying, "Woman, I need some respect," is kind of annoying. Musically, Respect is in the key of C major. The verses go back and forth between G and F, and the chorus is C to F. The bridge comes out of left field, but other than that, the song is pretty simple. These are very straightforward chords for the key of C major. I don't want to get that far down the music theory rabbit hole, but the main sections of Respect are all major chords. The chords in Unity, though, are minor chords. But get this, because the Crusader sample has been pitched up, both songs are actually now in the same key. Wow. Kind of. Yeah. Okay, so quick, here we go. The basic chords of a major key are this. The 1, 4, and 5 are major chords. That's what Respect is built on. The 2, 3, and 6 are minor. The 6 and the 3, that's what Unity's built on. The reason Unity doesn't sound like Respect is because the tonal center is different. The tonal center is just what chord feels like home base. For Respect, the place that feels like home is C major, but the relative minor of C major is A minor, and this is the tonal center of Unity. Essentially, these two songs are in the same key, just relative major and minor versions. The result is that Aretha's song feels more positive and celebratory, while Unity feels a little more no-nonsense, edgy, and more direct.
Right.
They're in the same key, they're just coming at it from two different angles. So Respect starts out as an Otis Redding song, but then Aretha Franklin got a hold of it in 1967, and her version adds two elements. Both of them parallel Unity. For one, the iconic spelling out of the word R-E-S-P-C-T. That's not in the Otis Redding version.
Wow.
Aretha is trying to make it clear as day what she wants. She's literally spelling it out. The other addition is the background parts sung by her sisters, the sock it to me part. 26 years after the release of Respect by Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, Queen Latifah released Unity, a song which is very much the same energy. A woman demanding respect, laying out what she wants so clearly, she's spelling it out for us. But whereas Aretha's version has the sock it to me backgrounds,
right,
Queen Latifah is taking matters into her own hands and socking the nasty dude from the first verse in the eye. So the answer to what song is that is both of them. These are essentially the same song from two different times. The same energy, just with the specifics of genre, production, lyrical situations, and tonal centers differing. Now, let's see if I can mash up both of these songs, two completely different songs from different artists, different genres, different years, but the same energy. Sorry, what are two completely different songs with the same energy?
I want some dead in his eyes.
They're killing the bass over there. Nice.
For more Queen Latifah, for more Native Tongues, check out this video right here.
This was a good video right here, definitely. I like the breakdown of how it's kind of relates to Respect and Unity, relating the white dog too. And there's major facts as well too. So yeah, other than that, shout out to Digging the Grace with some other good shit. But if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.